Meta discontinued their Facebook shops and it had affected a lot of ad accounts. Here's what's happened and what you can do to fix your ad account if it's actually struggling right now. This article right here explains it all, but you don't have to read it because I'm going to summarize for you. And also I did a little bit more research to understand why Meta just did this, because you have to remember that Meta want to actually take over the e-commerce world with this feature that you could actually check out directly from Facebook. It was trying to be Amazon's #1 competitor, and before managing to actually do that, they completely shut down the whole system. Let me analyze for you what has happened. So in the past, you were scrolling through Instagram and you find out a product like this or a carousel ad like this, and you could actually click shop now, and in many cases you could actually check out from within Facebook if you were in US, of course. And that was an implementation that we thought that we are going to see in more and more countries as time goes on. But the problem is that we didn't. Actually, Meta, what it actually did, shut the system off. So now when you click shop now, there is no store that is actually having the checkout inside Meta. Every store is being directed to the website. So now when somebody clicks on the shop now, it's going to go through your website directly every time, no matter what ad you actually have. In the past, when we were setting up the ads, we can select a website, but it had an option website and shop. Right now it doesn't because it has been discontinued. That is weird. It doesn't make sense for Facebook to actually do that when you look it on the surface, on a high level. Because as you can see, like Facebook, it was a really good product. It actually helped advertisers quite a lot. It actually, for 2 of the stores that we're managing, dropped the sales significantly by doing that change, because it was really convenient for US customers to actually go and check out through Facebook. And right now the performance has dropped in 2 of the business that we manage. So why did Meta actually did that? Look, Meta isn't stupid. Like, the main reason that they actually did that, it was to actually cut costs. Zuckerberg himself said that he miscalculated the boom from COVID and he was expecting that it would actually grow a lot, but it didn't, and the costs were really high. The cost of actually maintaining the system on the background was actually too high. You need to understand that whenever you have, like, as a platform, Facebook as a platform, in order to roll out something like that, there are a lot of pieces involved in order to do that, right? Because it's a completely different thing to have a checkout system inside your platform. So basically there were data servers for Zuckerberg to actually implement that. He hired over 1,000 different developers to be able to implement that and maintain the system, which costs a lot. And the adoption wasn't there. Like, many people didn't use it. Many big brands actually never use that because they want to have the full control of the customer experience. So, because as you can understand, like, for smaller brands actually helps because it is doing the checkout faster. But for bigger brands that they want to do upsells on the checkout, so basically you can sell more, it was prohibiting them to actually do that. So many brands actually didn't do that, and the adoption was really poor, and like, the revenues that it brought for Facebook weren't there. And Facebook keeps spending money on stupid stuff. Like, Zuckerberg spends money all over the place, but this wasn't the future. He thought the future is AI, the future is metaverse, but it's not that. That could be handled with Shopify, for example, as Shopify did for most of the transactions that you get for your e-commerce brand. And the costs were really high. Like, I calculated some of the costs, and the payment processing infrastructure, the fraud detection systems that you have to build, the regulatory compliance, the customer service, and all the developers maintaining the system was costing too much for Meta. Right now they want to do layoffs. They probably just throughout the entire team, and they probably saved $500 million doing that. So as a platform, yes, it is a step back. Meta's initial plan to actually was to take over the market, and you are not doing that if you're stopping the service completely. And Meta is actually seeing this year a year of efficiency. So that's why they took a step back. They stopped the service completely. I don't think that's going to come back in 6 months or something, but probably in 2 years we are definitely going to have that again, because as a part of domination of this platform, like it's crucial to actually have the checkout happening inside Facebook. This is something that it is going to definitely happen, but just Zach is just taking a step back. At what cost though? Because I have seen so many other accounts fail and actually having worse results when the change actually happened. And that is frustrating to see that Meta actually do not care about its advertisers and just doing things erratically without actually giving much thought to it. But we get used to that. Meta is all over the place nowadays, even with the changes with the Advanced Plus sales campaigns, the incremental distribution and poor performance, the wellness fiasco. There are a lot of things that Meta is doing that are against its advertisers, but we all know that it is one-stop shop. Meta is the only platform, unfortunately, that we can scale our businesses. So Meta knows that we need them, so we are not going to leave. That's the hard truth to that. And they didn't make money off of that because initially the percentage that they charge for each transaction was like 5%, but they have to drop it down to 2.9 to actually get some traction. Still they didn't see the adoption that they wanted to see, and the cost of actually keep maintaining that service was too high. So that's why they closed it. And you have to remember what has changed. Like, your product catalog is going to always be here. You're going to be able to import your products from Shopify. There's nothing changed on that. Just the checkout doesn't work. So that's why, like, when you go and try to launch a campaign, you are not going to be able to find the conversion website and shop here. So you can optimize for that. It is affecting websites that they have a ton of products, not 2 to 3 products websites. Probably you're never using Facebook shop if you have like a supplement brand, for example, with 1 or 2 products. But for brands that they have multiple products, like 200 products, 500 products, 1,000 products or more, it's going to affect them a lot. So what they can do for this ad account, for example, the ROAS that we have was 3 with 23K. By the way, to this point, to actually tell you, I manage $1 million per ads on ads. I have over 30 clients that I manage ads for them, but I have nothing to sell you, especially if your ad spend is below 10K per month. So this is all free value that I'm giving you. Anyway, as you can see, for example, for this particular ad account in July, we had a ROAS of 3, and actually we maintain, after we saw a huge dip, we try to maintain the ROAS, and we managed to actually maintain the ROAS for this month to 2.5. Yes, it is a drop, but it is a profitable drop, and it is a drop that we managed to actually absorb by using the strategies that I'm about to share. So basically the first thing that we did is we changed the checkout inside their store, because customers were really into quick checkout. Or what we consult them to do is to basically make the checkout faster, so they are not going to absorb this change. So basically changing the Shopify, because every time for this particular business, every time we try to launch an ad, Facebook and Shop actually work much better than the other campaigns. That meant that people were more keen to actually check out from Facebook, and because Facebook is faster, that's why we changed their checkout steps, so we can actually like get to basically make the checkout faster as if it was on Facebook, because it was a cheap product and actually made sense for people that they want to actually make an instant purchase. It was a consumable, basically a candy business. The second thing we did, we transitioned from carousel ads spending most of the money to actually transition to videos and images. So we basically shoot more content so we can actually absorb the budget and be basically not to change our budget completely, because the carousel ads started failing, and that was a huge problem for us, and we didn't want to drop our sales basically. So this was one of the main ways that we actually did that, and it's something that you can do as well if you see a similar dip inside your ad account. And the third thing that we did is we actually saw it as an opportunity, because now we have full control over the checkout process, so we can actually sell more products to the customers using bundles, using post-purchase funnels, so we can cross-sell and upsell different products, and we managed to actually increase our AOV when this happened. So this is something that is hugely important, and if your ad account had affected by that, you should always remember that this is an opportunity for you to actually move away from Facebook, because if you want the big money, for most cases out there, you're going to get them if you actually have the person inside your store, so you can cross-sell, you can upsell, you can follow up with an email and actually sell them more. So it is not a hugely bad thing. It was Meta just want to lay off people, that's why they did that. And those are the strategies that you can do, that you need to implement in order not to get affected by these chains. That is the video. Thank you very much for watching it. And if you liked it, click thumbs up.